The film begins with Ted, who owns a large company in the field of aeronautical engineering. On this day, he has just finished work and is checking in with the workers and engineers about the issues they will be working on before he leaves. On the other hand, we see Jennifer, Ted's wife, at a hotel with a police officer named Rob. There is a relationship between them, and they are in love. At the same time, Ted arrives and sees his wife with Rob at the swimming pool, confirming her betrayal, as he had already suspected her and was clearly monitoring her. He then heads to the hotel room they are staying in and enters it to make sure of everything himself. A short while later, Jennifer returns home, where Ted is waiting for her. When she asks him about work and why he came back early, his attitude toward her is different, and he speaks to her harshly. Suddenly, he asks her if he has ever fallen short with her and whether she loves him. Jennifer is shocked and doesn't know how to respond. At that moment, Ted pulls out a gun and shoots her. There are workers in the garden who hear the gunshot, so they rush to the house, knock on the door, and call out to Ted and Jennifer to check on them. But Ted fires at the house windows, causing the workers to run away in fear. Soon after, the workers report what happened, and the police arrive at Ted's house to investigate. Ted learns that Rob is the officer in charge of the case, so he asks him to enter alone while holding a gun and warns the other officers not to come in. Rob enters alone and is shocked to find Jennifer on the ground. Ted tells him that he is the one who shot her, pointing the gun at him. This enrages Rob, who grabs the gun and starts beating Ted until the other officers intervene, pull him away, and arrest Ted. However, they discover that Jennifer is still alive, so she is quickly taken to the hospital for treatment. On the other hand, we see the prosecutor, Willie, on his way to his office while speaking on an important phone call. His friend Norman then enters to congratulate him on getting a job at a major company called Wooten Sims. Willie jokingly says he was chosen because he's special, and they talk about the suit he will wear to the company's party that evening. Willie then learns that his boss, Mr. Loebtry, wants to see him. His boss tells him he knows about his acceptance at Wooten Sims and explains that working there will be different since it is one of the biggest companies in the country, wishing him good luck. After that, Willie returns to his office and receives a call from Norman informing him about an attempted murder case involving a man named Ted, and that they need him to take the case. Willie says he is busy with the party that evening, but Norman explains that no one else is available and that the case is simple since the suspect has confessed and was caught with the weapon. Willie goes to court wearing his party clothes, which impresses Ted, who says he likes people who are different. When Judge Moran speaks, Ted announces that he waives his right to an attorney and wants to defend himself, rejecting the lawyer assigned to him. He also requests to skip preliminary hearings and proceed directly to trial, insisting that Willie remain the prosecutor because he admires him. After the session ends, Willie goes to his car, where Rob meets him and warns him about Ted, telling him he is smart and dangerous and must be handled carefully. Willie then goes to the party and meets Nikki, who tells him she will be his manager when he joins the company in 15 days. They talk about the company's director, Bert, and how some people were not convinced about hiring someone from the public prosecution, but she reassures him that she will support him. During the party, Willie receives a call from a member of the investigation team named Flores, who tells him bad news. The gun Rob took from Ted's house had never been fired, meaning it cannot be the murder weapon, which puts the case at risk. Willie requests a new search of the house and decides to go with them the next day to ensure they find the real weapon. The next morning, Willie goes to Ted's house and helps the investigation team, but they do not find the weapon. They do, however, find a box of ammunition missing 4 bullets, the same number of shots found at the scene, but there are no gunpowder traces on Ted's hands or his fingerprints, raising doubts. After that, Willie returns to his office and receives the case file marked with signs of rejection, so he decides to visit Ted in prison. There, he is surprised to find that Ted knows everything about him, even details about his new job and Nikki. Ted tells him he hired a private investigator named Dick to gather information. Willie is astonished and asks why he is doing this. Ted replies that just as Willie is investigating him, he is also investigating Willie, and he offers to hire him as his lawyer for any amount he wants, but Willie refuses. Ted then tells him an old story about when he used to work with his grandfather on a poultry farm, where he was responsible for sorting eggs. He discovered that all eggs had flaws to varying degrees and that there is no such thing as a perfect egg. He explains that every person has weaknesses, and he has discovered that Willie's weakness is his hatred of losing, which is why he made him that offer. Willie laughs and leaves. The next day, a court session is scheduled, and the case is transferred to another judge. The judge allows Willie to question the witness, Ciro, who is Ted's gardener. Willie continues asking him about what happened that day and whether he noticed anything unusual, but Ciro tells him that everything seemed normal and there was nothing out of the ordinary. During the trial, Ted is sitting and drawing on the paper in front of him, then tearing it up, giving the impression that he is not interested in what is happening. This annoys the judge, who asks him to speak and defend himself. Ted stands up and says that Officer Rob, who is present in the courtroom, had a relationship with his wife and was the one who arrested him. Therefore, his confession is invalid because it was made under threat and out of fear of him. When Rob hears this, he rushes toward Ted and attacks him inside the courtroom. The judge immediately orders the courtroom to be cleared and keeps Ted and Willie with her to speak privately. Willie begins telling Ted that this accusation is baseless and will only make his situation worse, but Ted insists that it is true and says he can bring witnesses from the hotel and other places they used to visit. He also claims that Rob forced him to confess and was present during all interrogation sessions. At this point, the judge reprimands Willie and tells him that the presence of the arresting officer during interrogations is illegal and will invalidate all previous confessions and evidence. After hearing about the relationship between Jennifer and Rob, the judge orders Willie to find new evidence against Ted, or she will be forced to release him due to lack of evidence. After that, Willie goes to Mr. Loebtry and tells him that he has decided to postpone his new job until he finishes Ted's case, because he is not used to losing. Loebtry agrees, but on the condition that if Willie loses the case, he will be fired and will neither keep his current job nor join the new one. Willie accepts the challenge. Willie then sits with Flores and tells him they have until Monday. If they don't find the murder weapon, the case will be completely lost, and he will hold him responsible for the failure. Afterward, Willie goes to meet Rob and asks him how this happened and why he didn't realize that the report came from Jennifer's house. Rob tells him that since he met her, he never knew where she lived or even her real name. They used to meet at a hotel twice a week under conditions she set, so he didn't realize she was the victim until he saw her. Willie leaves and goes to Ted's company to search for any evidence. Upon arrival, the secretary tells him he has a call. When he answers, he is surprised to find that Ted is calling him from prison, mocking him and telling him to order whatever coffee he wants to help him focus. He also asks him to inform the secretary to cancel Jennifer's tickets that were booked for another honeymoon, saying he will go alone after his release. Willie gets angry and hangs up. Willie then decides to visit Jennifer at the hospital, but the doctor informs him that her condition is critical, and the injury is close to her brain. Even if she regains consciousness, she won't be able to speak or remember what happened. He leaves feeling frustrated. Later, we see Willie traveling to Hollywood to visit Nikki's family after they have grown closer. They talk about the case, and Nikki tells them he left it, but he explains that he returned to it. She becomes upset and asks to speak with him privately, blaming him for continuing, but he insists he won't abandon the case until Ted gets what he deserves. Nikki's father then intervenes and encourages him to continue in pursuit of justice. After that, Willie meets Rob, who suggests manipulating the evidence by replacing the murder weapon, but Willie strongly refuses and leaves. Willie returns to his office and reviews the hotel surveillance footage. He sees Ted, but cannot prove it because his face is unclear. He continues searching without success as the verdict session approaches. At that moment, Willie decides to call Rob and agree to his offer. He also asks his secretary to enter during the session and inform him that they have found the murder weapon. During the session, the judge asks Willie if he has new evidence. He says he does not and asks for a minute to make a call, but hesitates and backs down. The judge then rules Ted not guilty. Ted leaves happily and tells Rob not to be upset. Willie sits devastated by his loss, and Nikki calls to comfort him. Suddenly, he hears a gunshot in the courthouse. He rushes out to find that Rob has committed suicide. Ted returns home, happy with his freedom. The next day, he goes to visit Jennifer at the hospital and is surprised to find Willie there. He tells him not to visit again and implies that her condition is hopeless, that she is living on life support, and that a small mistake could end her life. Willie understands what he means and rushes to Nikki, asking for her help to reopen the case, but she refuses. He then goes to Loebtry, who also refuses and tells him that Ted has filed a complaint against him. Willie then goes to Judge Moran and explains everything. The judge agrees to reopen the investigation. Willie immediately heads to the hospital to arrest Ted, but finds that Jennifer has died and the life support has been removed. He is denied entry, and her death is recorded as natural, which causes the case to collapse. Willie returns to his office and searches the law for a loophole, but without success. During this time, he receives a call from Flores. Due to a mix-up between their phones, Flores answers a call from Ted, and then Willie speaks with him. Ted asks him to come to his house to give him a gift before he travels. Willie goes to Ted's house and remembers the phone switch. He decides to search the place and finds a hidden drawer containing Ted's real gun. He finally understands everything. When Ted arrives, Willie confronts him with the truth, that he switched the guns with Rob, causing the police to confiscate the wrong weapon, while the real gun remained with Rob the entire time, until he used it to commit suicide. Willie insists that he won't let him go, because he attempted to kill Jennifer and caused her death. Ted mocks him, but Willie opens the door, allowing the police to enter and arrest him. In the end, the trial is reopened, and Willie successfully proves the crime after the real weapon is found, and the film concludes. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel.